Hello and welcome to Coping with Donald. I am Phil. It is a little past noon on February 4th, 2025. The stock market is down again today at this time. It's only a couple of percent off its all time highs, really. But the danger, I think, is that with the AI stocks going down and the rotation happening out of AI was the main driver of the stock market. So unless AI continues to go up, we shall see probably a stagnant stock market for a while. And why is AI going down? Well, everybody has their opinion of it. It's long been talked about that AI will take away jobs, and again, that will slow the economy, especially the consumer part of it in the United States. But I think it's also that the companies that are investing in AI might be thinking, I'm not really going to get a return on this investment. One thing that AI is being, in one way, talked about now is that they look at other companies, not just people, that will be put out of business if AI is wildly successful, such as software companies. It, Software companies could get bypassed. If AI can do your taxes, then software companies that produce all of the tax programs that you can upload onto your computer, they'll be out of business. Things along those lines. So a lot of companies are taking big hits, not just AI, but the ones that would be affected by AI. There's also a bit of a worry, a concern that the Terminator future could come about. Not in that way, but AI now has rooms where AI bots can talk to other AI bots, bypassing humans, criticizing humans, actually, even. And since we know the power that they have to disrupt human life, I'm not talking again physically. At this point, I'm talking about shutting down electricity, shutting down power plants, I mean, you think in those terms, scrambling everybody's finances or making them disappear. I don't know if every company wants to be the company that promoted that. And also, um, I think that they are afraid that their investments in AI will not pan out. So investors on Wall Street are thinking, well, if they don't actually make any money on AI after pouring all of this money into it, I don't want to be owning that stock. So it's a lot of things. Now, in the end, I believe that the hype and that the excitement about being in AI will eventually dominate and take over. Okay, humans just want to be in the thing that's soaring, and right now it's not, but um, eventually they will want to get back into it again. Humans are easily gullible into trying to go over the rainbow and get the pot of gold. And there will always be somebody like Elon Musk talking it up, which, man, that guy is. If he wasn't the richest man in the world, and he was a coworker of yours, and he was talking that way, you'd write him off as, well, you'd write him off. Donald Trump. It's very scary when Donald Trump talks about having the federal government take over the running of elections. It's very apparent and obvious in the Constitution that that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a states' right. And all the years when Republicans didn't have all three branches in the Supreme Court, they leaned on state rights to get what they want. That's how the abortion issue is working actually in this country, because the red states will not pass laws to allow for even sometimes medical intervention on a pregnancy that is dangerous to the mom. That's a state's right. And the Supreme Court made it obvious when they struck down Roe versus Wade. So to say now that, oh, well, when we're in power, we want to have all the power and the states don't have any because they want everybody to have to play under the same rules. And the fact that they're not that afraid of it because they want the federal government to control the elections makes it pretty doubtful that we would have free and fair elections. That is a legitimate complaint, a legitimate worry. So, as you noticed, I didn't talk about Epstein or anything like that. That'll be in my other taping today. Things that are a little, well, I wouldn't call Epstein lighthearted, but things that are a little more wacky. Excuse me. But I will end on one final note. The notion that Trump destroys everything he touches, which is pretty valid. The list of Trump bankruptcies, there are dozens of them, such as Trump Vodka, Trump Steaks, Trump Airlines, all those things. And most notably, his casinos. When Trump took over the Kennedy Center last year and renamed it after himself 6 weeks ago, it was doubtful that people would see it closing for 2 years, as Trump has just announced. 6 weeks after he put his name on it. I think that if he thought he would be doing this, he wouldn't have put his name on it. Because it just adds to the legend of Trump businesses. Excuse me. And the Kennedy Center had turned in a few years of profitability. But now they can't sell seats. And they can't, excuse me, get any. I'm very sorry about this, but I don't want to lose this because I'm. You know what? That looks like the pause, but I'm not going to do it because I'm near the end. Um, he can't get people to perform because they're all upset with his policies and what's happening to America, which is their right, by the way. So there's another business that he closed down. And it's in the arts at the same time. He doesn't like the arts, really, so he's good with that. Um, but I also want to bring up today that the last time I checked, Bitcoin was down again, 4%, I believe, to $73,500 per Bitcoin. A few months ago, it was at its high over $120,000 per Bitcoin. It has lost roughly 40%. There are reports that if it loses another 10%, the people that mine Bitcoins, which I don't even care to understand, to be honest with you, they won't be able to make a profit mining Bitcoins, creating them with electricity and, I don't know, copyrights. I really don't feel the need to understand Bitcoin. I just consider it a fake money. And Donald Trump said, we're going to be the leader in alternate currencies. And now it's gone down 40%. That is so Trumpy. It's Trumpy. My voice cracked on that. It's very Trumpy that it's gone down 40%, but it's also very serious because people are going to lose real money on that. Normal people who thought, oh, I was told Bitcoin will keep going up. I don't know why it's going down. Maybe people kind of woke up and said one day, hey, this is fake money. But there are funds out there that do nothing but mint Bitcoin and wait for it to go up in value and then sell some. That's what these companies do. Like, well, it's called strategy now, but before it was called MicroStrategy. So the call letters, I believe, are MSTR, which just makes me think monster. But um, these companies could go out. People are going to be losing a lot of money on something that was never really a product or a service. And to me, that's a disservice. It's a disservice to people around the world. It's a disservice to Americans. And you can argue with me all you want about fiat currency, meaning a country's money, being worthless. But at least it's based on a notion of something, or as Trump would say, a concept of a plan. Bitcoin goes up and down not based on tariffs or debt or interest rates or anything like that. It just does what it feels like doing. It's a hype item. It gets hyped up. It gets hyped down, and it's gone and lost half its value before in the past. But then it always multiple bounced back up. I just I can't wrap my head around the whole concept of Bitcoin. To me, it's like the Dutch tulip excess of what 700 years ago, when people thought tulips were priceless. So be careful if you're thinking about buying into Bitcoin because you're going to make a killing. That is something where, yeah, if it went back to previous highs, it would go up about 70%. But I was thinking about buying a Bitcoin when it was at 110 and 190 and 80. Think about how much money I would have lost. All right, so my feeling is Bitcoin is completely worthless unless it's actually printed on gold. Do they even do that? Because they have the digital currency accounts, which, boy, by the way, those stocks are crashing too, like Coinbase right now. And they need government regulations or restriction of regulations in order to prosper again. Well, that's great for people who own Bitcoin, but for the rest of us, I don't think it is. That's just my opinion on that. And this has been Coping with Donald. I'm Phil. Have a great day.